Hi, I'm Michelle Houston, and welcome to Tribe by Fire, where I'm sharing my best friends with you. And we do that by sharing stories and laughing and sometimes crying. And today's guest is Leslie Degler. Degler. I mean, do best friends really have to pronounce your last name correctly? Apparently not.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just call him Leslie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with your vanity plate. What?
Oh my gosh, which I
Yes.
still haven't picked up yet, but Mr. Leslie.
Yes, Mr. Leslie. So is that how I am to refer to you as?
Yes, actually.
From this point on.
That way, there's no more confusion about why my voice is so low, but the name
heck?
is so girly.
What?
That's why Mr. Leslie's out there.
Okay.
It lets people know what to expect.
Well, it's true. Okay, so Leslie does gorgeous hair.
Thank you.
Close up.
Thank you.
Does gorgeous hair. So I went to his new studio. He's got his own suite now.
Too.
And I went to the studio and I asked for Leslie's, which number suite he was at because it was new and I didn't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me down this hallway and I think it was room number 7, which is my favorite number. And yeah, but it wasn't because it was not Leslie. It was another lady.
It was
It was a lady, a different lady. It's a different lady. It was not a Mr. Leslie. Here, see, let's bring this down so we see your beautiful face. Okay, so yes, and then he appeared and he was like, actually, I'm down this way.
This way.
Yeah, he heard what had happened.
I knew.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
You knew. You're like, I thought she said she was here.
Always the wrong Leslie.
Yes, yes. So, there's our Mr. Leslie story.
Yep, that's it. It's useful.
It is
It
useful.
lets people know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to talk about how we met. Take it away.
Wow.
Take it away, Mr. Leslie.
Well, I met you when I applied for my first college job at UNT, and I was so nervous. Do you know that?
Were you?
Do you know? I don't know if we talked about that the other
crazy.
night.
Okay, because Mr.
So
Leslie
nervous.
is filled with confidence and arrogance and confidence.
But
it's a confidence sandwich.
Inside Leslie was really unconfident.
Really?
Had no idea even what I was doing on that campus. Short story is I wanted to be a hairdresser out of high school. My dad wouldn't let me become one. He wouldn't pay for school. But he was like, I'll give you $600 a month or something like that, which is an obscene amount.
Yeah.
If you go to college. So I was like, well, yeah. So I
you
went
can pretty much pay Leslie
to do
it. That's not true. That's not true, but that's funny.
Available. That's kind of true.
Okay.
But so yeah, when I met you, I had no business being on campus because I didn't know what I was doing there. I was just getting paid by my dad to be there.
Okay.
And then I had to get a job because someone stopped paying that monthly allowance.
Dad.
Yeah, not his finest promise, maybe. But so yeah, by the time I come to you, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this job. I'm like, I'm not cool enough. I'm not like...
Not cool enough.
You have funny memory. And I really was not very confident.
I do have a funny memory, but I do remember this guy.
But you do, don't you?
Yes.
But then I met you, and you immediately struck me as someone who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I thought, well, we'll just go with it and see.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
That's really true.
Those are like special words to me.
No, that's
Thank you
true.
very much.
That's your gift. Now, I've known you for at least 2 years. Your gift is connecting with people. And and that's important. It's really important. And
I love that.
helped. Yeah. And then I started working there, and then I was like, yeah, I am.
I mean,
I'm a
doesn't he look
cashier.
like he belongs in a bookstore?
Yeah.
Like, for real. He looks like a literary genius.
I have read a book.
I have too.
I know how to scan them and ring them up.
And again, taking money.
Mm-hmm.
Ching, ching, ching.
That was a phenomenal job experience.
It really was. Oh my gosh. Okay, and what you just reminded me of this week was that we watched
This
you
is
want
cool.
to say it? Okay, you say it. You say it.
We watched the first episode of Friends. You were so stoked about that show. I do remember that. But you were also kind of stoked about everything.
I do get excited about things. If I get
what draws people to you.
Oh,
yeah.
I am highly excitable.
You are. But yeah, first Friends episode. And I'm like, we're watching a TV show? What? And like, we didn't know.
No, we didn't know it was going to be the biggest thing that decade.
Yeah.
And it was about haircuts. Basically, it was about
the
haircuts.
Rachel. It was. But there I was stuck at college, wasting my life away.
Okay.
No,
That
I
is
got
not
a
the
great
PSA we're going
education.
for.
No.
We love education.
I did
It's
get that
important
degree. I'm
because
proud
that's your
of that
passport.
degree.
Education.
And that passport took me
Passport to
many
freedom,
places.
financial freedom,
Yep.
opportunities.
Yep.
Yes, education's your friend.
So funny.
He can be taught.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you need someone charismatic to say you can be taught. You know? And that's what you did.
Oh, yay!
You did.
Okay, so let's talk about who he is.
Those friends people are.
Yes, still today, and how some of them married well, and then didn't, and then okay. But besides them, I don't want to talk about them. They're not my best friends yet.
That's fair.
I mean, I got more room in my friendship circle. Yes, I will. I'll keep it together. But what I do want to talk about is who the successful man to my right is. I think to your left, to my right is Mr. Leslie. Let's talk about what happened after. No, I know, but you're to my right. But maybe when they're looking at us, maybe they're looking.
See,
maybe you're to the left.
Now I'm like my head's
like
wrong.
I'm
just a hairdresser.
Maybe we should be like stage left. But I don't know those either. So back to Mr. Leslie. It's gonna take a minute to get used to that, but I can do it. But I can do it.
So my goddaughters, who I'm very close with, weren't sure what to call me.
How many goddaughters?
Basically 2.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm basically an uncle, and when they were, I guess the oldest one was 5. Was the youngest one around? Barely. But she decided Mr. Leslie was going to be my name.
Okay.
So, and I was like, that works. That works really well. So that's what I am.
I love it. Leslie. Okay, so Mr. Leslie, tell us what you did after college because it's so amazing. Yes, he's a big deal. I friend up.
Not a big deal.
He's a total big deal.
Not a big deal. And what I did was what happened to me because I have always been embarrassed about not having a plan. And I've seen people around me, they're like making plans. You got to make plans. You got to have goals. And I was just like, okay. So when I graduated school, I worked in Dallas for a year for a firm called Ground Zero. And then September 11th happened. And that firm wasn't so popular. It was actually going in the ground anyway. But, they went bankrupt. Yeah. And then I was driving home. I think this would have been in November. And I totaled
What were you doing for them? Wait a minute.
Oh, that was an architecture firm. So I graduated with a degree in interior design. And I got my start at an architecture firm laying out parking lots for Easy Lubes.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Drawing
it's a thing.
Lots.
Somebody has to.
Well, someone has to.
And this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me.
You
might be
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You might be listening to this in one of my spots right now.
Oh.
Right?
How fun is that? Yeah, I hope so.
It was, it's an architecture firm, so I had to sort stone samples and do parking lot diagrams, but they went out of business. And while I was helping the boss sort of wrap up business and do stuff, I totaled my car and I got a huge insurance check. Like I was not expecting it because I was 2 payments away from paying that off.
Oh.
Huge insurance check.
Okay.
And then a friend of mine who lived in New York said, you should move to New York. And I was like, sure, Jan. And then I was like, wait, why not? What am I going to do next? Where am I going to work? I have $8,000 in my pocket.
A lot of money.
2 suitcases and a plane ride later, and I moved to New York.
So romantic.
And spent $8,000 in 2 weeks.
Hello, New York.
Holy smokes.
Go NYC.
Wow. And right after September 11th, so the design industry was dead. Nobody was hiring. And I literally thought, what did I just do? And I had no plan other than like my dad said, when you're looking for a job, you should send out your resume 50 times a day until you get a job. So my little booty let's see, how would we have done that? Because this is honestly at the brink of the internet.
Right.
So I think I would have honestly looked in a paper or something. And I remember faxing my resume. I'd have to go down to the Kinko's on Madison and 32nd and fax my resume 50 times. And then sure enough, someone called me and they said, we have some freelance work, which involved me taking things back and getting refunds. So here's some picture frames, take them back to Bergdorf Goodman's and get some refunds or whatever. And then, like, it happened so, like, boom, 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 boom. I got a job doing customer service for a furniture place, and it was the worst job. It was so bad. There was nothing to do. Like, so everyone would say, like, Leslie, we need you to fill this out at your leisure.
Those are not
horrible.
probably the
horrible. And
action.
then somehow the person I ended up
words you
returning
needed.
picture frames from said, I know this guy that's hiring. I don't know if he's going to like you or whatever, but give it a shot. And I interviewed with him, and that was Jonathan Adler. And the whole interview, this is really funny. So first 3 years at UNT, I was a drawing and painting major. And then I went to interior design. And
You can't touch my table.
I can't touch your table.
Do not touch my
'cause it
table.
makes noise.
It vibrates.
I'm sorry. No touching. Anyway, so he was just fascinated that I could draw. He was like, so you can just draw this stuff? And I'm like, well, yeah. That's all he cared about. So he hired me.
Which is a good point. So just to interrupt for a second,
Yeah.
because currently
Uh-huh.
you do drawings by
Oh, yeah.
hand,
Oh,
and
yeah.
computer systems take
Oh,
a
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
So
No, it's
let's not.
It has so weird.
Yeah.
What that skill, like where it's taken me, and how
Mhm.
valuable it has been to people in an industry that I didn't think it would have any sort of. I'm still kind of blown away.
Yeah. So he saw the future. He knew that was
He couldn't draw,
right.
but he had
Okay.
vision. So, I worked for him super closely for a total of 8 years. And really, in the last 6 years, sat by his side and just drew almost like a character witness. You know what I mean? Draw me a nightstand with a Hollywood Regency handle and make it look like this. And then I draw it, and then he says, make it a dresser, make it a bed. and that's what we did. And we had interior design projects. And I drew floor plans, and I drew renderings, and also then ended up doing construction administration and client management. Before I knew it, I was an interior designer.
And it was a big deal.
I
Which
was-
he won't admit.
I was a big deal for a second. I
That's
remember.
all. It only takes a second.
Well, in 2007, let's see, I moved to New York in 2002, right after September 11th. By 2007, people were spending money like it was going out of style. It was right before the housing crash. And I was getting calls from headhunters. Hey, we know you're doing that job on 20 East 65th Street. And I'm like, how do you know me?
Stalkers in the workplace. It's not just me.
That was my first time feeling like I made it. People want me. They're calling me out of the blue. And then the housing market.
That's funny. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I moved on from there to work for an architecture firm again because I could sketch quickly. And I'm still in disbelief that people, A, can't do it, and B, that it's that valuable to them.
Oh.
Still to this day.
Maybe you
I'm
can
just
teach
like,
it. Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
so I worked for an architecture firm, which was, I call that job so bad I quit drinking.
Okay.
It was bad.
But it's true. He has quit drinking
I
for
have, yeah.
how long? A long time.
12, it'll be 12 years this November
Mhm.
that I gave up the sauce.
Yes.
It kind of gave me up too, though. So, anyway.
Well, regardless, he's still fun and fantastic.
Oh,
living
yeah.
his best sober
better,
life.
way better.
Way better. That is true.
Way
A better sober life.
Boy, did I
Yes.
not know what that was about. But I found out. Architecture firm was really boring, and then I went out on my own.
Wait,
And-
before we stop on architecture, because there's something really relevant. I
Uh-oh.
mean, somewhat big kudos, but maybe a little painful now.
Uh-oh.
You know. Okay.
Oh.
So there's that new movie Barbie came out.
Oh, you're
So,
right.
Mr. Leslie
You're
had his own
right.
Barbie project
Okay.
for real. So
I
listen
got
up.
to do-
Listen up, audience.
My boss, Jonathan Adler, was a celebrity, so I had a couple of pretty major things happen. Top of the list, meeting David Bowie. I was like,
Look into the screen.
his
Tell him.
kitchen.
Look him in the
in
eyes.
his kitchen, I met David Bowie, and he walked over to me and shook my hand and was like, "Oh, I'm David Bowie," and I'm like, I'm Leslie," and then dying on the inside, but trying to keep it together. And I had a lot of those weird moments with Jonathan because he was a celebrity and he knew a lot of people. And somehow, Mattel reached out to Jonathan and said, "It's Barbie's 50th birthday party. We've rented a house in Malibu. We want you guys to turn it into Barbie's dream house." And for a kid that grew up playing with Barbies and always wanted a dream house, but my parents were not going to buy me a Barbie dream house. I mean, I had to steal my Barbies on the down low
I mean.
from circus merchandise.
Oh, what? Listen,
yeah.
and
They
we're not
wouldn't buy me
endorsing
Barbies.
theft either.
No,
Oh my gosh.
no,
Oh my
no.
gosh. Do not steal
No,
for real.
I had to go tell the manager that I had stolen a Barbie,
Good.
and I got off free.
Not
I
okay.
still stole those Barbies though because I
Oh.
wanted to play with that hair. I didn't care about the dolls. I just wanted to play with the hair.
Okay,
Did you know that?
but
Yeah, that's my love of hair was from Barbie. Anyway,
And-
so I do Barbie's dream house on this project.
don't steal.
And don't steal, kids.
Now we'll keep going.
Yeah, it's not good. But anyway, I ended up doing Barbie's Dreamhouse in Malibu, and it was the coolest thing. I didn't tell you this, but this is like still 2007, I think, when Lady Gaga was first on the scene. Back when she was still a little bit pudgy and her costumes were kind of falling apart.
Okay.
Loved her best during that period. That wasn't a dig.
Okay,
she
good.
just, she kind of had an eating disorder later or whatever. This is raw Lady Gaga putting it out there. Loved her. And she did a video for Poker Face in the same house. So when I got there to install this dream job of mine, I was like, wait a minute. I know this house. It was so cool. I just felt like 2007 was a good year.
It's a good year.
So we did Barbie's Dreamhouse, which was really cool. They gave me creative license. I mean, Jonathan was certainly involved, but he wasn't out there putting it together. And Mattel let me go into the archives and look for art that I could blow up and hang in the house. And so I got to go. I had to sign, I swear it was a 50-page agreement, not to even mention that I had walked in the building. And I had access to all of Barbie's original advertising throughout her entire career up until that point. So Barbie's Dreamhouse was a big deal for me. It was a real feather in my cap. One, because whose client is Barbie? I dare you to be in design and say that you worked for Barbie. But
Gauntlet and Throne.
Thrown and accepted because there is a new Barbie.
I was going to say somebody picked it up.
They did because of the Barbie movie. They did another Malibu Dreamhouse, so mine is obsolete. I don't think they had a chandelier made out of hair.
Well, tell us about that. I love a chandelier. I love a chandelier.
Project Runway had this contestant, Chris. Darn, it's too bad that I don't remember his name. He's no longer with us. But he was a contestant, and he was amazing. And Mattel hired him to create this chandelier out of Barbie hair.
Wow.
And it showed up, and it looked like it was a walk of shame chandelier. And I got to go out and buy 2 cans of Aquanet and some teasing combs and style that puppy into shape.
Bring back the 1980s.
It was cool. We got to. I made some chairs that had corsets on the back with like little buttress skirts with Barbie fabric printed, and it was such a treat. We brought a Warhol in of Barbie. Interesting fact, though, that you don't know, is there are these poodle statues that are, I don't know why Barbie has a poodle statue, but they are the most sought after Barbie property, or they were in 2007, and the entire time they were on property, there was an armed bodyguard.
Oh, okay.
And I remember thinking, why are they here? Like, nothing is that. I was like, the Warhol. They're here for the Warhol. And it was, nope, they're there for those poodles. Because people were so crazy about them and wanted them. Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
I mean, my head's full of this weird
stuff.
I
bet the poodles appreciate it. Because I feel like poodles as a dog
I gotta
species.
say, kudos to the new Barbie Dreamhouse because it's amazing. Except if you zoom in on a picture, you'll notice the slide goes to nowhere. So answer that one, Barbie team.
Okay, you have a flaw. There's a flaw in your design.
Yeah, but it was cool. That's a cool part of.
And he just maybe wants to have a meeting with you. That's all.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly.
Maybe. He's luring you in.
She's gonna turn 70.
It's gonna happen.
It was cool.
You think it'll be 70, not 75? The next party.
It'll be 75 party, I guess. Yeah. Who knows? But I'm dying to see the movie.
Me too. Oh, you want to go together?
I don't go to theaters. You know,
that's right.
So I've developed a lot of weird proclivities. I just don't go to theaters.
Yes, he does not go to movie theaters.
No.
Yeah, that's all right.
Do it.
Well, we can watch it again in my
When it streams, it'll just be like that first Friends episode. It'll be the premiere. Why don't we the night it streams, the first night? We'll watch it.
All right.
I'm down.
You can.
I can bet that I'll have an invite after this.
You will, and maybe we can create a facade, a Barbie facade, and you could relive your Barbie designer days, and we'll just set up like a stage set.
I'll style your hair into a chandelier.
Thank you.
I know you.
My dreams are coming true.
It's all happening.
My dreams are coming true.
I got to do some cool stuff. That's for sure.
You did.
That was really cool.
Okay, and then what is also really cool? So your high school, college dream was to do hair.
Yes.
And then how did that come?
So I worked on my own for 5 years, and I worked in New York, but all my projects were in California, which was very interesting because I literally just crisscrossed the country. I was executive platinum one year on American Airlines.
So after New York, you went to
so glamorous.
California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I
Or
decided,
kind of-
I was like, why am I here if I'm not doing anything here? So I was like, I had a partner at the time, and I said, we need to move to where I'm working. We should move to either San Francisco or LA. And he had always wanted to move to LA, and I didn't really care. So we picked up and packed all of our 5-bedroom house into storage and moseyed across the country with 2 cats and moved to Los Angeles. And the day we drove into Los Angeles, I literally said, I've made a terrible mistake.
Which is how he starts most of his
It
career.
is.
Yes.
It's fascinating. So then I lived in LA and really struggled out in LA because I just couldn't find the big glamorous, I got used to being Mr. Leslie. And they were like, you're kind of old. I was no longer 30, the hot 30 under 30. And I was pushing not being the hot 40 under 40. So, and then, the design industry's changed a lot. And now the model is retailers offering design. So as free services. So probably the biggest player in that is Restoration Hardware. So I was like, well,
feel free to sponsor Restoration Hardware.
Yeah, Gary Friedman, if you're listening.
We are name dropping.
We are, yeah. So I thought, I want to try this. I've done so many different things in my career. I didn't want to do the same thing. And I thought retail might be a really interesting aspect. And it was fascinating. I was hired as a gallery designer, and I worked on projects that were $500,000 or more worth of orders. So you as a customer came in and I went to your house and I measured, and I literally took a Restoration Hardware hose and hosed her down for a lot of money. So I did a lot of
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money. I did a lot of VIP clients, and it was so cool. I mean, I got to see some of the coolest houses in LA. The job was awful. It was really strange. But I got access to all these really cool houses in the Hollywood Hills. There was a job in Malibu that wasn't going to go anywhere. She wasn't going to order anything, but I just wanted to see it. So I made a side. Sorry, guys, she's going to spend a lot of money, I promise. And went and saw the coolest house hanging over the Pacific Ocean. Just really cool stuff. So I did that for a while, and then I did one more retail job like that, where I was just selling outrageously priced furniture. I mean,
some of it was yours, right?
No, I mean my designs. I got to do a lot of custom designs. But it was the same thing. I'm working for a furniture showroom, but I'm only working on whole home sales. So, and big ticket items. So I sold, I think almost every week, I sold a $60,000 sectional to someone. And I'm not that guy. I'm not fancy. I'm not as fancy as Michelle wants you to believe. I like hot dogs, and I'm pretty simple. But it actually did start to become very out of touch with my own life. And it was kind of bothering me for a long time that I was serving the 1% and just not really, my heart wasn't in it anymore. But and then the relationship with the partner fell apart, and I hated LA from day one. I never once was like, I love LA. It's dirty and it smelled like cat pee.
It's a tough little town.
Yeah, the weather's nice.
Yeah,
if you like sunshine.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm a skier. I want snow.
Yes, you do.
Want cloud. Anyway, so
he's a great skier.
Where do I go after all of that? I felt like I was bankrupt in my career. My partner ended it, and I was like, I want to be around all of these fabulous connections that I have maintained. Most of my friendships, you're probably one of the last friends I made in college. Most of my friendships are still from junior high and elementary school.
Oh my gosh, that's special.
The people that I text every week, the people that I stay in touch with, those are all my, at least Denton High, some Calhoun, some Sam Houston Elementary. But yeah, and I wanted to be around that. So I moved back to Dallas thinking I was going to get a glamorous design job. I rented this gorgeous modern apartment in downtown Dallas. Got myself a puppy. Had my cute little convertible. And then COVID happened.
Hey.
So another
Life
time
happens.
In my design career where catastrophe has made hiring sort of a challenge. And then I was in a high-rise building, and I was like, I don't know what COVID is. And these trust fund kids aren't wiping their hands or wearing masks or doing anything. So I pieced out on that apartment and I moved in with one of my best friends here in Denton, who is the mother of my goddaughters, and had a moment of, what am I going to do? And the first time in my life I've ever been on unemployment. It's not as glamorous as some people would make you think.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've heard unemployment's very glamorous.
I actually didn't know. Because I'm so naive. I've never done unemployment before. I thought you would just get your old salary, right?
Nope.
So this is how naive I am. The last pay stubs I had made $220,000 the last year selling furniture, and I thought, unemployment, this is gonna be great in Texas. Yeah, so it wasn't that much, it turns out.
No, and you have to pay it back. I mean, you get taxed on it, and you have to pay it back because. Well, we did because my husband was unemployed, and and then we got hit with.
So special shout out to the state of California if you're looking for me, because it was California unemployment.
Oh, they probably do things differently.
They do.
They actually do things differently.
They do things very differently. But okay, so I'm on unemployment. No design job is happening. I'm literally not joking when I say I was living in my friend's storage closet. It was like so Harry Potter. Like I was in there with the extra refrigerator and the dog food bags and clothes no one was wearing. It was so cute. And then I don't know what made me think of it, but I was like, should I go to hair school? So I was like, well, no, they're going to be closed. And then I did a little interneting, and they were doing hair school via Zoom. And I was like, okay. So I called them. I'm like, are y'all still doing hair school? And they're like, yeah, come on down. And I just signed up, and I literally started a couple days later. And before I knew it, I was like, I guess I'm becoming a hairdresser. This is my childhood dream. It was mind-blowing. It was so cool. And I very quickly learned that hair school isn't what I thought that was either. I go into everything so naively. Do you know that about me?
I think that's a good thing. That way you actually go into it. Because if you knew the reality, I'm not sure you would do it.
That's a very salient point, because I think I wouldn't have done half the things had I known better.
Exactly.
That's
and
really
me too.
Point. I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely.
That might have just dawned on me now. Okay, so hair school is not learning the latest, greatest hair tips. You're just passing a licensing exam. So that was cool. Did that, got a phenomenal job here in Denton, which was really confusing to me. Because
Denton is a cool place.
Denton is way cooler than it was when I left 20 years ago.
Oh, that is
way cooler.
That is true. We have been.
And then, I used to have long hair, and, in New York, I used to pay $600 to have it balayaged and blonded and all of that other stuff, and I was never quite happy with it. And then when I walked into the salon in Denton, I'm looking around and I'm like, that's the blonde I've always wanted, and they're doing it in my hometown. So weird. So I got trained by the best at Denton Color Lab, and started hairdressing and really loving it, and really loving that a majority of my clients were, some people I still don't know who they are. I'm so sorry that you remember me and I don't remember you. But people.
But it's probably not you.
It's definitely.
It's probably not you watching and subscribing.
Absolutely. It's the people that are about to subscribe. That will go back and listen to previous
that are resisting subscribing.
Like, what do you mean?
Did he mean?
It was phenomenal. When I say 40% of my business, and my books were full from day one, 40% of my business were people I went to elementary school, junior high school, seriously some I still don't remember, names that were kind of familiar, and their kids. And it's like, I didn't just get one client with a
yeah, because now we've had families.
Now they've had families, and now I'm doing their kids' hair. And it was just everything that I didn't have in Los Angeles that made me think I need to move home to community. Listen, COVID was killer. Yeah, that's a bad word to use about COVID.
Okay.
Sorry.
We might edit that.
Edit it, please.
Okay,
COVID was a banner year for me. Childhood dream, boom. Community, boom. People taking care of me when I really needed to be taken care of. It was a great year for me. It was a really good year for me.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that a lot of good things come out of adversity.
100%.
Yes.
Because imagine if I had stayed in Los Angeles, and that did not look pretty.
Except for I wouldn't mind visiting and going to one of those fancy parties. But
what
maybe
fancy parties?
an LA fancy party. Okay.
Well,
to you.
Oh, because I wasn't drinking anymore. But that I did get Nobu. You know, I told you at one of those parties. I got free Nobu.
Yes.
So
Oh, they brought in. Well,
I
okay.
got a lot of swag. I went to some fancy parties.
Thursday night, we went to Nobu in Dallas,
Mhm.
which is just down the street from another place he's working because he's a hustler. He's got 2 jobs right now.
I did.
Yes.
Yes, we went to Nobu, and it was fabulous.
It was incredible. I've never been. Delicious. Fantastic.
Like, I didn't know avocados looked like.
The artistry. Oh,
It
my
was
goodness.
artistry.
It really
You
was.
actually ordered something based
Mhm.
on how cute it looked, and then
That's true.
maybe didn't care for.
The one thing. There's just a
There was
pace.
a
There's
weird
one
paste
thing.
we don't know.
And we don't want to know.
That was fun. That
It
something.
was a lot of fun.
It
was a lot of
It
fun.
was really cool.
But he was telling me, aka bragging to me, about how in LA at
Mhm.
this fancy party that he's denying,
Huge party.
they
It was
catered in
fancy.
Nobu.
There were celebrities,
Mhm.
and they catered Nobu, but no one eats in Los Angeles.
So he made out like a bandit.
I was like, I eat Nobu, and it was just free. It was just, would you like another roll? Yes, I would. I mean, I was like so full that
Mhm.
night from the best sushi I've ever had in my life. Until we had some Thursday.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right,
It's
we
pretty cool.
need to get to our
We do,
viewer
because you
questions.
and I can talk for days.
We can, and I'm gonna have him back. I'm gonna have him back,
Okay.
and he's gonna
If
look
I'm
more
allowed-
at
if I'm
you
allowed back.
when
I'm
he's gonna
sorry,
look
I
more
keep
at
forgetting.
you. I know.
Mhm.
I know. He can be taught.
Because this is actually how we naturally talk.
That's true.
I'm just picking one.
Yes. Oh, do not have. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Do I read
I'm
it?
not gonna regulate your. Yes, please do.
Okay, y'all. Moving to Denton, what is the best way to meet cool people in town? Well, to grow up here, because you know them.
All right.
Wait,
but I'm
no,
sure you've got
that's
some.
not true.
Yeah.
Meeting a cool, first off, you can't walk around Denton without meeting a cool person. When I say that I am so blown away how my hometown is trendy, it's got restaurants you want to go to. They have reclaimed parts of the downtown where it's like you could shoot a movie down there. It's so cute. And you can't throw a rock without hitting a cool person. I mean, there's musicians, there's just walking around the whole east side area. Like, because I did live down there for a minute and I had a dog. And
He was conveniently located. I loved it.
it was pretty dope.
He was on the square.
But I met so many cool people just out on the street that were just, Denton has the richest tapestry of people. You would never expect, having lived in New York and having lived in LA, I was not expecting that.
Wow.
Literally the coolest way to meet cool people in Denton is walk around the square.
Yes. Just talk to people, which is what we do here in Texas.
And everyone will talk back to you.
Yes. Yes.
Except for me, because I have that New Yorker attitude, you know. No, that's not true. Everyone will talk to you, and there's so many characters, and it's really cool. It's a cool town, and it's gotten so much cooler.
Yeah, it's dangerous if you're waiting in line because you will be talking to the people that you're waiting in line with.
1,000,000%.
Mhm.
And they're all weird and cool and kooky and creative.
I like to
and-
say interesting.
Well, I like
They're
weird
all
and kooky.
interesting.
I
Yes.
think weird and kooky gets
Well,
bad.
clearly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Same.
Same. Same.
This
Same,
one.
same. That was fun.
Okay, yay. So, what I would like to do now is thank you for being one of my best friends
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
my best
and for
friend.
being on my very first podcast.
How fun. This
Super
is so
fun.
cool.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't wait to hear more about what is this?
This
She's
is a
presenting
gift.
me with a box.
I am. Mm.
Ooh, if there's some Barbie in hair in
Oh,
here,
I'm
just,
sorry.
do
sorry.
I open it live
Yes,
on the-
definitely. You're going to
on
open
the
it
mic?
live.
Okay.
You're going to open it live.
Cool.
And
Well,
this,
thank you for having me on.
absolutely, you are interesting and one of my best friends
Never a dull
and
moment.
all the things. So,
What is this?
okay. So, for
It's a pretty
being
little suede
on my
bag.
podcast, yes, it is a
There's
sweet bag.
something in it.
Yes.
Oh. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is sweet. What is this?
So that
Oh my
is
God,
a
I
fire
love
pearl,
This.
like for Try
You
by
know-
Fire.
But you know, Pearl's my birthstone. June.
There it is.
How cool is that?
Yes,
What's a
so-
fire pearl?
Well, okay, I will look it up, and
How
I'm not sure. I just know it's a.
How did you?
It's a. I feel like
Well,
it's a
it's
freshwater pearl, and.
But it has this opalescent finish on it.
Yes, but
That's
that's
so
all real.
cool.
That's all natural.
Oh, that's not something that's been
No,
done to it?
no,
You know
no.
I have a big head. So I'm
Okay.
gonna have to
Oh,
listen.
yeah, I know.
I do.
Yes, I know. I really
I
adore
just have
people
to
with a
accept.
with a healthy
I
ego.
just have to accept that.
Okay, let me see
who
if this
I am.
will.
Wait, can I wear it like that?
You can't wear. Oh, okay, my little unicorn.
Yeah.
Is that how you want to do it? Okay.
Thank you so
Slide
much,
it down.
Angel.
You're welcome.
Oh, I love you.
I love you.
This is amazing.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nick,
Uh-huh.
my sound director. And come back, see us again, get to know more of my best friends. We will have Leslie back on because, of course, Mr. Leslie is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Subscribe,
yes.
subscribe, subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. We need you.
And also subscribe.
Yes, one more time. For the back row.
There's this thing called subscription.
Mm.
Let's subscribe. Because I can't wait to hear, because you know some crazy people, and I'm dying to hear their stories.
Well, thank you. I do have, yes. And the more that I have my regulars on, the more you'll get to know them, and we'll have more stories, more laughing. But right now, I want to introduce them to you. So,
I love it.
All right. I love y'all. Thank you for subscribing and listening and joining me here on Try by Fire. Bye.
Tried by fire, tried by fire, forged
in the flames. All that life throws us, we turn into games. Armed with beauty, brains, and heart, this funny life can't tear us apart. Ambitious, strong, tried and true. My friendships give me strength, and I'm sharing them with you. Each individual burns bright in my heart and brings love, life, and passion like art.
Blessed by all.
Their impact on many.
Each should be celebrated.
Now, let's get to the skinny.